guys, welcome to the channel. Eric, Newer Panda here, joined by Brandon, now on Twitter under NPG Brandon. Am I right?
Correct.
Yes, got it. And this episode, we're actually joined by one of my good friends, very knowledgeable in games and beers, Kevin, at Korkenstein1. Correct?
That's correct.
Not Korkenstein.
Not Korkenstein.
Not Korkenstein. Let's get that correct. And, if you guys are enjoying, everything that we do here at Super Button Bashers, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And for any of you ladies out there that are feeling sad that Tony's not here, don't worry. Tony's here in spirit. And actually, he's here in hologram because he decided to send us this amazing, cool little disc that he sends us a message to all you bashers out there and apparently to us. So let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't make it. I wish I was there, but unfortunately I got some important man-boy business to do. You know, the type of things that make you want to take a really hot shower after. But, yeah, you guys have a good one. Talk about all that fun E3 stuff, and I'll deal with these guys. Alright, Button Bashers, you guys ready to do this? You know my rules. Whoever doesn't fight, pull you apart like soft bread and punch you in the tits.
Alright, thanks Tony. So, that was a waste of a DLC, and it's good to see that he's still here in spirit. And what I'm kind of curious on, guys, is that what does Tony do on his off time that he's battling people? And where did he get this team of people that are rallying behind him? Because I wouldn't do it. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, every time I talk to Tony, he's on the way to the gym, perpetually on the way to the gym.
On the way.
Never at the gym that I know of.
It's like you set your GPS and you decide you're going to keep rerouting yourself to make sure you're going to make it to that one spot eventually. But yeah, like I said, guys, this is a whole different one. This is an E3 special, and usually not... We usually don't do this in the episode, but you know what? I'm going to just throw this in there. Decadent Ales is something that... Kevin, thank you
delicious.
for introducing.
Hey, anytime.
Kevin's got good taste in beer.
Yeah, Echo Cream Pop. Delicious. Try it. Sweet. But yeah, you know what? So cheers to anyone.
Cheers to E3.
Yeah, E3, guys.
E3.
It's stressing me out. All right, let's get down to business. All right, so as everyone knows, it's E3. There's a lot going on. We got Xbox. We got Nintendo. PlayStation missing. A lot of that fun stuff. But let's go ahead and just dive right into it. So let's start with Xbox. For me, one thing personally that I'm really interested right now, I don't know about you guys, is about the Star Wars game. It's a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Kevin, you want to go ahead and start us off in this bad boy?
Yeah, I was actually at EA Play. I was able to go one of the first ones in to check out the presentation that they did, and it looks amazing. It has a very unique feel to it because it's very Force Awakens mixed with Uncharted. Oh, yeah. So you'll have a lot of platforming, you'll have a lot of jumping around and moving. But then you also have the great lightsaber content of what Force Awakens has, but it's just very more modern. So there was one point in time where I saw him force grab a guy, and then he threw him into another stormtrooper, and then he threw his lightsaber into another one. Meanwhile, another one had a lightsaber that deflected his beam.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All in 2-3 seconds. It was very fluid, very fast. It was definitely a modern Force Awakens take to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of waiting for something like this to happen for a long time because Force Awakens was one of those games that was, I feel like it was kind of underrated, but because it had nothing to do with being canon. Yeah. So for me, it's just if that was canon and you could make that into a movie, you don't have to do anything. The game pretty much set everything up for you. And I would always say, imagine if they made this with the next gen consoles, how it could look and feel. And that's pretty much what this is. And I think one thing that gets me really excited for the game is that it's actually part of the storyline. It's right after Order 66 into Rogue One, where she meets Saw Gerrera. I might be saying the name wrong. I'm a Star Wars fan, but yeah, I do mess up. But anyways, so it does lead into that. And I remember when I saw him in the trailer at the Xbox briefing, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, this is actually going to happen where it's going to lead into Rogue One. So maybe there's going to be a Jenna Erso little cameo at the end. Cool. Who knows? But Brandon, what do you think? Star Wars wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's funny that we talk about Force Unleashed and the fact that that was canon originally.
Wait, did I say Force Awakens?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to go
Oh,
back
I said
on
Force
that.
Awakens.
I was gonna say
That's my
all
bad.
all
You
so
might have
anyone-
to.
No,
I
no,
don't
we're
know.
not. in that
We're on the same page. I know
We know what we're
we all
talking
know what we're
about.
talking about. We're talking about video games. So it's funny that we bring that up though, because I remember when that was considered canon. I remember when it was actually announced that it was no longer canon. This is Disney's takeover of Star Wars and Lucasfilms, and I think that's cool because if you remember because I played both of those games, Force Unleashed and 2, both of those games was very OP, and I don't think it could work in the Star Wars universe because if you took it there where someone had those type of force powers, I think it would probably break the Star Wars canon and timeline. So I like this game for, again, how it looks kind of like Force Unleashed, except for a little bit more modern, and it's a little bit more grounded in the universe of Star Wars that we kind of know now. And so I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's cool, especially on the back of them having canceled the last major Star Wars game that EA was working on before. And that was heartbreak for a lot of people. So it's good to see them working on something story based again. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm being a Star Wars fan and like being a Force Unleashed fan. I gotta make sure. I'm pretty sure we said Awaken.
I
It's
said
fine.
Awaken.
It's
Definitely.
fine.
That's my
I'm pretty
bad.
sure I piggyback off of that one, but I mean, I'm extremely excited. But I mean, Xbox had like, I personally think Xbox had a lot to offer, like games. I mean, when I was there, they said about they're gonna show like 60 games. And the first thing went through my head, and some dude that I was talking to next to me, I was like, "Are they really gonna show us like 60 games? Like, how are you gonna show us 60 games in such a short time frame?" Which, whatever, I'm wrong.
maybe I remember them.
They did it.
I did remember them having the press release pre E3 that was saying that they would show 14 games. Just put that out there. It's 14 games, which is actually the most Microsoft has ever showed at their conference.
What's crazy is they just kept going like this one, and then this one, and then this
This
one.
one.
And now it's just like, okay, this one's done. World premiere. I'm like, oh my god, what's
First
going on?
party game, just to clarify.
I mean, like I said, Xbox did a lot. I think the big one, which they waited towards the end, was Halo Infinite, which, wow, it's fabuloso. All right, but it was like really good. Like, I mean, just watching it. Like I said, I haven't beat the 4th and 5th one, unfortunately, but to know how those graphics look on that bad boy. I need a minute to...
Next gen's gonna be insane.
Go ahead. I need a minute to breathe.
He's feeling a little verklempt. Just talk
Yeah.
amongst yourselves.
Just do it. Go ahead. Yeah, like
I've never been a huge Halo fan. Because besides 360, I hadn't owned an Xbox. The original Halo I played at a friend's house. Like a lot of people, like they'll go to a friend's house and play. Back in the day when you could just go to a friend's house and play something. But I still thought it was a great trailer, and story wise, it's really cool, especially because they're kind of resetting. They mentioned that they were kind of resetting the universe. So for someone like me, right, who hasn't kept up with Halo after like Halo 2, it's pretty cool to know that they're doing a soft reset. So it's going to be canon in the Halo universe continuously from 1 through 5, and even I think like all of the tactics ones that they have right now. But I think the other thing that's dope about it is that it kind of sets a reset. So it's going to tell it starting from the beginning again. So I think it's kind of like that Mortal Kombat 10 game. When they were like, we're just going to reset the universe. It's a new Mortal Kombat, even though it's called Mortal Kombat X. They're retelling all the Mortal Kombats in order. So for me, that's a great jumping off point. I hope it is for a lot of people too. So.
Kevin, Halo.
Yeah, I mean, it was just gorgeous. I mean, everything that they showed looked so great of what they were really doing, especially the lead-in, talking about how it's going to be an exclusive to Scarlet. For the new Xbox, but just what they showed, especially at that very ending scene of him, unplugging the little chipset and Cortana talking to him,
Right.
it's kind of piggybacking off that 5, and it's like, what's going to happen next, So it was definitely a great cliffhanger moment for, I think, that trailer and that Xbox briefing.
I mean,
to
I saw
end
your
on that.
excitement when we were watching it again earlier. You're just like, oh! I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's going to happen.
I was like, Cortana!
yeah. Like
Yeah,
I
it
said,
looked great.
I don't know too much about it, but I mean, like I said, I've been a fan since like the old school ones. But I mean, I think the biggest thing about it is that it's going to be coming out with the new Xbox Project Scarlet, which we'll dive into that later.
Mhm.
But like I said, graphic wise, what do you guys think? Like, is it more realistic?
I mean, it
like,
looks
is it
phenomenal.
more like he's here with me?
It looks phenomenal. E3 did a thing where like this is kind of like a critique, not a criticism, but every single thing that E3 made a point in the captions underneath whatever was being displayed to say that this is in-game footage or in-engine footage. I should say that specifically in-engine because
I didn't even notice that.
So the only reason I did notice it is because I think in my head like, well, what does this mean when it says in-engine? Of course, this is going to be in-engine, but like, are you saying that this is what the game's going to look like, or maybe is it a cop out? And I only say that because like I'm so sometimes untrustful, like with EA when their Star Wars game, it's in-engine footage, but these are still cinematics. Like they haven't shown gameplay of this yet, and so I get a little skeptical to say, well, why did you put this caption here? Is it to say that this is what our engine can produce graphically? Except for gameplay may not be this way, but I'm not sure yet. But either way, it looked gorgeous, and like so that for graphical quality, I'm excited for next gen. Super excited.
Yeah, it looked pretty amazing, especially once he popped on that suit and you could kind of see it. Kind of delved into that first person perspective of what you would see as Master
you
Chief.
saw those lines like regular, like the
old
the
lines.
usual. He has that usual like the line on the top where it's like his health bar and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and it kind of showed the potential, and I think that's what a lot of people were like, "Oh my god, it looks great."
I thought there was gonna be a little bit of gameplay, like just kind of way like when they focus on the first person. I was like, wait, is something about to go down? I was like, he's about to do something. So, I mean, it was good. I mean, as far as Xbox, I mean, like, can you guys remember what got you into Xbox in the first place? Like, what game was it that you're like, I need to buy an Xbox for this? Even if it was like the original or the 360.
It was actually the very first Halo. That's when I got my first Xbox day one.
Damn.
I was young at the time, so I couldn't afford the... well, the Xbox Live didn't come a little bit later, but... I saved up all my money and ended up getting an Xbox, and it was amazing just sitting there playing just the first person perspective of Halo and seeing the storyline and just everything about it was just it was breathtaking. It was definitely very, very
something different for the time.
Yeah, different for the time, and I just can't remember just sitting there and I was just glued to the TV, just sitting there playing.
Do you remember what made you want to play Xbox?
I mean, probably also the same Halo. I never actually, I've only owned an Xbox 360. My history of gaming has always been one. My very first console was PlayStation, so I have a very, I have an attachment to it that I don't feel at this point can be broken. But as a youth, when Xbox first came out, with that PS2 era, I can tell you for sure I was brainwashed by the advertising and media at the time that was pitting Xbox versus PlayStation very hard. And so at that time, I felt like I had to pick a side. And that's not true at all. No one ever should, just for anyone out there, no one should ever feel like they have to pick a side console-wise. If you love games, get the games.
Yeah.
Right. At the time, though, like, they locked me in because it was this entire thing of, like, Xbox doesn't have RPGs. I'm a huge RPG fan. And then, like, Xbox doesn't have this, doesn't have that. And so at the time, what did eventually win me over, I will say, with Xbox 360 was live. Because PlayStation had nothing at all. For a very long time, not even PS3, that was even close to what Xbox was offering for online play and support. Yeah. So I think that's where they win, and I think that that originally when I got 360, it was because of that. I think I had to. It was so much better of experience when you're talking about multiplayer games.
I think for me, it would have been, because I never owned an Xbox, like, original. My brother did, and the only game I remember playing on Xbox back in the days was Project Gotham, the racing one, and that's the one that had, like, when you're skidding around like turns and stuff.
Drifts,
you had to drifting it. But I mean, the reason why I got, I think, a 360, which my main hype for Xbox was Gears of War. I think it's because how gruesome it was. Just the brutality, everything that was going on. Everyone was all swole looking, from the locusts to the people. Like the women out there weren't all chiseled, but they're down to get down. So I mean, like being at the Xbox, I got really excited when they started talking about Gears of War 5. A few years ago when they had 4, I was there to see that. And unfortunately, I haven't beat 4 yet, which I think I'm going to jump on soon because of 5 coming out, September? It's getting me extremely excited.
September 10th.
Yeah, so Gears of War 5, And Kevin, you actually have some playtime on that, right?
I do. I was actually at one of the Microsoft stores over in Century City for the escape mode that they were talking about when they brought up, hey, we got some Microsoft stores here. We're going to play, show off the escape gameplay. And it looks clean. It looks amazing. The wall bumping isn't too crazy. It flowed very, very well. The one thing I will say is there wasn't a lot of hand-holding for it, especially for such a new mode. but it looked beautiful. It played beautiful. It was great. I mean, I felt pitted because essentially, so if those who don't know what escape is, there's a bomb planted and you're trying to make your way out. Is like kind of the basic explanation of it.
It's that opening of Final Fantasy VII, the game.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. You go in, you do it, you get out of here. Or Metroid.
And every so often, you have this like toxin that just keeps moving forward and forward and forward and forward throughout how you're progressing, and it's all time based. But it was awesome. I mean, I felt very pressed for time. I felt there was a need for urgency, and it was great. I mean, what I played graphically looked great. Gameplay wise, it felt very Gears of War ish, and it was just solid gameplay. Me and another person sitting next to me, we were talking and communicating. It left us no choice but to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That was the great part about it.
Very like cooperative.
Yeah, it forced you to be cooperative.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's always good. Like I said, especially games like that. Like, would you say there's any like strategy to it where like if you're going in like okay, let's say like it's us three going in. You know, we have our 3 walls. You know, we have one person pulling aggro, the other person going in with the bomb. Is there anything like that as far as game-wise?
No, so how it starts off is somebody already plants the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
At least the mission I saw. Somebody already planted the bomb, and now you're trying to escape. You're trying to leave that bomb and get to safety before it explodes.
Okay.
But there is the cooperative aspect where me and another person at the store, we ended up finding out this big bad can be easily beaten if you freeze it. There's a cryo gun that you can pick up and freeze them. And she's like, hey, grab the cryo gun. It helps defeat him easier. And then as soon as we did that, we saw his life just go down. So there is that cooperative aspect to where you're still learning and still figuring out what bosses. How RNG that is, I don't know if every level is going to be the same way. We only got to see one. I think it would be great if every level was different. All of a sudden you see a new boss and now you have to adapt your strategy for the same level, but there's going to be new bosses. I think that would be really fun. But as far as what I played, it was definitely interesting, especially as a first-timer, learning on the ropes.
Yeah, I miss playing Gears of War. All those times of screaming at my screen like I'm all pissed off. When I know I unloaded a full clip on my Lancer on someone and they still didn't drop.
Yeah.
Don't give me that nonsense. Get that internet out of here.
You had that active reload and everything.
I love Gears, man. That I was living with roommates at the time who had an Xbox, and I played it religiously. Pissed off my roommate, but it was extremely toxic. That was probably like one of the first games I played like with headset and mic, and so you could hear other people talking to you. And I really do think it might have been my first one that I can remember, and that wasn't using something like TeamSpeak or like at the time we were using like Ventrilo or something, but that's PC, you know. And it was a extremely toxic environment, and so I think that's changed a lot at this point.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I think gamers have learned a lot.
So advanced.
Yeah, sure.
Well, see, the thing is, my first Gears of War experience was very negative because I ended up with the Red Ring of Death.
Oh.
Yeah. I ended up getting...
Xbox?
I actually was able to break the street date of Gears of War. It's actually on like Destructoid that I sent them in. Hey, 7-Eleven is breaking the street date. Go grab Gears of War as soon as you can when they were selling video games.
What a rat.
Yeah, so
totally
totally narked out 7-Eleven.
We still love you guys.
They were going to get figured out either way.
Yeah. So I ended up getting it, and I played it, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. Oh my God, I get Gears of War like 3 days early. And like the first 5 minutes, it was like Red Ring of Death. And yeah, I had to sit there and wait as everybody talked about Gears of War for about 2 weeks until I got my
heart.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was a sad moment.
That's insane. I mean, like I said, Xbox did come out, announce a lot of stuff, which is really nice. You know, the big ones like Star Wars, you know, the EA Play. You know, there's the Halo Infinite. You know, Gears of War. You know, they announced like the Cyberpunk. They announced the Lego Star Wars. You know, the complete Skywalker saga, which I'm extremely excited for because Lego Star Wars is probably the one game that I actually 100% out of all the Lego games. So now I have another goal. I'm gonna hit up that Skywalker one.
Yo, Lego games are a lot funner, like a lot more fun than people realize. Like,
Oh, yeah.
They really are.
if you haven't played a Lego game, like
Yeah, because they
They're
said
almost
they're
all
like
good.
for kids, but like even when I watch my nieces and nephew play, they're playing the Jurassic Park one. I was like, this is so badass.
Yeah.
Like I was excited to watch them play.
it has a lot of like adult. It's one of those things that are really well suited to multiple audiences. Like I just say it that way.
Like kids
Very
could just
much,
run it, and then adults will grind that.
And
mother
and
out.
adults can get the humor, like the humor that they're going for because they understand the material a certain way. So
Well, I mean, like with the kids games though, because like they announced Minecraft Dungeons, which is gonna be
Yeah.
I'm a Minecraft fan. You know, I've been made fun for it. I do like the creative mode. You know, I remember making the entire picture of Super Mario 1 when Mario's jumping over Bowser, and you have, well, I don't remember who it was before. Like the princess. Well, I had her.
Just
I
the
had
princess,
Bowser. Yeah, the
yeah.
princess. I had Bowser,
Daisy, I
princess. I had the axe glowing, and I had him jumping over like he was gonna touch the axe. I did this whole thing. It took me like 4 days to do it because it was so large. So to know that Minecraft Dungeons is coming out, I was like, okay, like would you say it's kind of like a Diablo?
It seems very much like it. Like it has that isometric over the shoulder kind of view where it's kind of looking over, and it has that RPG aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what interested me is because I do like Minecraft as well. You know, I think it caters to a younger audience at first, but then once the potential was realized, it showed so much more. I mean, they did the Minecraft story and everything like that. But yeah, it seemed very isometric Diablo-ish in the RPG sense. That you're gonna go and kill, run through dungeons and get loot. In that sense,
It reminds me of like Gauntlet Legends. I don't know if you guys remember that game
that's
back
the
in
same
the days.
same style as that.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because I was always a fan of that Gauntlet Legends. But yeah, I mean, like, what about Minecraft? You ever dabble into Minecraft, Brandon?
Oh yeah, I own Minecraft for like 6 consoles somehow. So I purchased that game so many times. But no, I love Minecraft. I think it's cool because there was this modded version of Minecraft, and it was very similar to this, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I just wonder if they were like, "We love your idea. We're gonna cease and desist on you, but we're gonna take this and actually make it great." And the cool thing about it is that, again, if you guys ever played Minecraft on like PC with mod support and stuff like that, they have this. They have a lot of like mods that do lighting like this. They do like one thing that impresses me about this particular Minecraft game is like the way it looks. It just looks so much better than original Minecraft, like vanilla Minecraft, and like. I think it's cool because they've obviously put so much more polish on the Minecraft style without changing the style. Kept it that 8-bit or 8-bit feel, but it looks amazing. Like 8-bit Hero, that one game that came out, and like looks that way. And I think that's one of the coolest things that they could have done in Minecraft is expand the universe just like story, but with this really cool lighting. Looks like it uses like ray tracing lighting. It looks all real. It looks like it's just really dope. So I'm looking forward to it. I definitely am going to play this game for sure, though.
nice.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. I mean, like I said, I wonder if they'll actually incorporate a way where you can maybe possibly make your own dungeons.
Oh, I feel like they have to. I feel like they have to.
Yeah, like I was like, you man should just upload, but hey man, try out my dungeon, see what you could do, and just be ruthless. Like 600 skeletons coming at you, trying to battle them out.
There's one
Or
sword.
Endermans, you have a bunch of Endermans coming at you.
You got to fight
that's
through
sad.
all of them to hit this like super sword, and then you can kill them all.
I'm gonna make a arachnophobia level, nothing but spiders.
Oh, I won't play it, bro. I don't
just-
like spiders.
You step on a
Yeah.
you step on a trap, and a mine cart just full of spiders come start unloading on you.
They just it's like a trap door just opens and just spiders on top
Like
of you.
Game of Thrones zombies and
Yeah.
Oh Jesus! I mean, like I said, there's a lot of games that got announced. I mean, we're just kind of grazing through it.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, there was that announcement with George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, what was it? What was it called again? It was Elden Ring.
Right,
Elden Ring.
George R. R. Martin and
By Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
which for people who may not know, that's the creator, like the Dark Souls series. This is
Never played them.
really.
Yeah. I've seen people play them, and I'm just like, that doesn't look too hard. But then I don't want to try it and be like, man, this game, I'm out of this. I can't do
You're
this no
just
more.
flipping your table
Yeah.
and everything.
Throw my dog like, yeah. Dude. But I mean, I've never dabbled in it. I don't know if you guys have.
Oh yeah, I've definitely huge. We'll just call them Soulsborne games fan.
Yeah.
The only one I haven't played right now is Sekiro. So that's the one I'm gonna play next.
That one just looks like amazing.
I've heard so many good things so far.
It does.
So.
It really, really does. Yeah, I've never been able to really dabble in those. I dabbled in the first Dark Souls, and yeah, I was just like, oh my god, like it's. I don't mind difficulty play, but in the sense that when I played, I was just. It crushed me.
You started crying in the corner.
It was so crushing.
Don't talk to me.
Yeah, it was literally soul crushing. Where I was like,
they should just make one of the games called that.
Yeah, I'm taking my ball home
crushing.
and go.
Yeah. It's part of the Soul series, Soul Crusher, because it crushes your soul.
Yeah, I played it. And I was just like, all right, this is a genre now.
And it may not even be comparable because even though it's by the same developer from software, but even if it's by the same developer, it does seem like they're doing something drastically different. If you've never played a Soulsborne game, I'll say that they're not very heavily story based. However, they're very heavily lore based. So if you're that kind of person that wants to read every single item description, you will get a lot of what's going on in this world. But there's no story. It's just you playing a character and you kind of grinding, leveling up, and stuff like that. This game seems like a departure from that. It seems like it's going to be open world. I don't know, but it seems like it's totally different than that. Very story heavy. So,
but I think with George R.R. Martin coming into play and seeing what he's done, which for everyone, you guys already know, Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched it yet, go back to our past episodes where we discuss Game of Thrones heavily.
Trash series. Yeah.
Oh my god, here we go again.
Go ahead.
Spoiler, trash. So yeah, if you guys haven't, go back to watch our actually previous episode where we talk about the series finale and all that mumbo jumbo. But yeah, so I think with George R.R. Martin jumping into it and having such a strong character development, type
narrative,
of thing. Yeah, narrative. I think you're taking the Soul series and him and putting them together. That's a beautiful baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it really is. And just like you said, they're not narrative driven in the sense that there's going to be spoiler alerts,
Right.
But the lore aspect of it, because one of the Facebook groups I'm in, Moongrave, we talk about it extensively to where I was like, I've never gotten into a Dark Souls game and been like, oh my god, I have to find out what happens next.
Right, right.
It's been more about what you can experience is what I was told. And that alone just makes me excited for what George R.R. Martin can actually bring into the next game.
Agreed.
So at least you know why he's not finishing books. He's too busy writing for this game.
That's gonna piss off a lot of Game of Thrones fans. They're like, so
this is what you've been doing?
So you're playing Xbox.
Yeah, eating cupcakes and writing games. Like, what are you gonna do?
They're gonna be a video of their bookshelf. Do you see these two slots missing?
Yeah.
Where's my
load
books?
that dust off. He's gonna put the game right there. It's gonna be Ultimate Editions, be as big as 2 books. Like, just put that right there. But I mean,
I think George R.R. Martin doesn't want to. I think he does. He literally is like, I'm gonna leave this unfinished. It's gonna be my legacy. People are gonna want to know about this for the rest of their lives, and it's gonna be true. Mm-hmm. We're all gonna be very sad.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of games coming out. There's a lot. We're not gonna really talk about guys, but I'm pretty sure you guys can look it up. It's like Battletoads coming out, which I told him off camera, I'm not a fan of. To me, it just looks terribly done. It reminds me of new age cartoons. They're kind of half-assed drawn now. Compared to back in the days, when we had X-Men and stuff like that, where everything was detailed, and now everything is just kind of blocky.
Well, it's kind of ironic because Battletoads is super 90s thing, so it's
but even when it came out on Nintendo, it still looked amazing. So I mean, we got Battletoads. What was some other ones? Borderlands 3. It's going to be coming out. I'm pretty sure a bunch of you guys want to return back to their wasteland. Like I said, Cyberpunk, we mentioned that one.
Best game of all time.
There's a bunch of indie games coming out, which indie games are always fun to play if you guys haven't checked those ones out.
12 Minutes.
Yeah. That one looks good. That's the one I forgot to mention, 12 Minutes. Yeah. That one looks good. And then also, to include all that together, if you guys don't have the Xbox Game Pass yet, they now have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is amazing because now you can play on your PC, you can play on your Xbox, and what else is there? And you get the Xbox Live.
If you go to
$15 a month.
You give Live too. It's all $15.
It's $15
stupid.
And
supposedly what they were talking about is you get Ultimate Editions of video games that are first party to Microsoft.
Those DLCs.
So if you want the new Gears of 5 coming out, you get the Ultimate Edition with Game Pass. Like, how awesome is that? Game Pass Ultimate gets you the Ultimate Edition, so you get all that DLC. If there's a Season Pass, that's what they're talking about. We'll see how it ends up playing to other exclusives coming out to Xbox, but it's an awesome deal.
The only DLC you don't get is Tony. Because, as you saw, that was a waste of money, and I threw it
was
out.
a waste.
Yeah,
it wasn't even part of Game Pass.
Yeah,
That was an EA DLC right there.
That's part of the EA Star Wars Battlefront. You pay $50 for a subscription, and they give you everything for free. Yeah, I'm talking about you guys, okay? I'm still mad. I'm still salty on that. But so let's finish up on Xbox. They did announce Project Scarlet, which, all right. Hold on. So, I just bought the Xbox One X, Project Scorpio edition, okay? And now you're going to pull some bullshit like this and make me want to buy another Xbox.
We knew it was coming. It wasn't like
But
out
still,
of the blue.
But still,
Like,
I just bought this motherfucker. Like,
They've kind of always talked about Scorpio being the kind of mid-level.
like a beta still?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the beta system, guys. I appreciate spending $500 on a beta.
Yeah, I mean, it was always like the mid-gen console, you know. There was always going to be more, you know. It was definitely something that was, at least for me, because I love Xbox. I've always followed Xbox. For me, that was well known as like, this is just an entry point into what next gen can be. And it sounds like Scarlet's going to be the next gen of what the next console's race is going to be.
Because it's just going to focus on gaming, right? Because Xbox One and like just in general, so the systems were kind of entertainment based, where it was, you know, like, we're going to incorporate this. Oh, we're going to have these channels that you can watch and blah, 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 you know, all the streaming services. But now it's like going to strictly focus on just gameplay, because I haven't written down for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, or you want to know more about Project Scarlet, 4 times more powerful than the Xbox One X. So, if anyone has Xbox One X out there, you already know what it does.
Jesus.
Hardware accelerated. You know, it's gonna come with Halo Infinite. You get 2 thumbs up for that one.
Yeah.
It's gonna, so that means it's coming out holiday 2020. So you guys start saving your pennies now. Turns out if you save pennies and coins for a whole year, you probably like $200.
Actually, I think there's a Reddit post that says if you start saving $50 a month now, you'll end up having $50 a month now. You'll end up having $800 by the time Scorpio comes out. So not only will you be able to buy Scorpio, the new Scarlet, yeah. Not only will you be able to buy Scarlet, you'll be able to get any accessories or anything that comes with it.
you'll be able to get like 4 games.
Yeah, exactly. So start
get
saving
Xbox Pass,
start saving $50 now, and you'll be able to get as much.
Next thing you know, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, Scarlet's gonna be $699 plus tax. Oh, you know that $800 you just saved, you're paying for the tax. You're good. You know, it's gonna have 8K resolution up to 120 frames per second. Dang, that's gonna be smooth sailing. And the SSD is gonna be a virtual RAM, lifelike scenes with no load times, because we all know how fun load times are, especially in a lot of games. I mean, I can't think of a game that has like a lot of load times.
The Witcher 3.
Which, I would say Sea of Thieves.
Only when it loads when it loads the map, it's crazy.
Because the map's so huge, right?
Yeah, it's just such a big map.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna have load time. Imagine that though, with like you starting the game, and it's just like you're in it. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said,
What a
you know,
difference.
I mean, now real talk. Do you guys? Okay, we'll start with you, Brandon. Do you feel that Project Scarlet has pulled you where you'd want to buy it?
Look, dude, like, you guys know how I feel about it. Look,
I know, that's why I want to ask you first.
this is the thing, right? Sony, we know, was not at E3. The problem with it is that Sony released all this stuff before E3, and kind of like, I almost feel like it was a strategy now. They just stole all the thunder, because literally a week and a half ago, Sony released their information about the PS5, and it was literally the exact same thing, word for word, that like Microsoft is touting about their system. So it does have a feeling for me. It was like, well, I already heard all this, because you saying like you support ray tracing, Sony just said this like a week and a half ago. You saying it's going to support 8K, Sony just already had said this with PS5. They're using exact same architecture, custom chipsets in both of them. So console's console. Ultimately, they're, it's just like PC. They're moving to the direction where, you know, if you are a PC gamer, I already know plenty of PC gamers that are just rolling their eyes at all of this because they're just like, what do you mean?
We've had this
been,
already.
yeah. Thank good, you know, great. You're getting on
The master race.
But you know,
PC, yeah.
I'm gonna argue on behalf of consoles, and this is going a little bit further away, but I'm gonna argue on behalf of consoles in the fact that PCs are not the same as consoles. I have had this argument at the same time. You know, just in the way that you can have a cell phone, like imagine your cell phone was also your computer. You did everything on it. Now that there's pluses and minuses to that. On my PC, I get a random Discord, like a certain type of Discord alert, and it knocks me off certain games, like an Epic client and stuff like that. You would never have something like that happen in console. Console has a very streamlined experience for just gaming, for just your Netflix, whatever you want to do in your entertainment system. I know a lot of people do use PCs as media servers and stuff like that in their homes. However, I'm telling you, like, it's different. It's a difference, and I'm glad to see consoles progress this way. That aside, there's so many issues with PC games. I do PC game as well. So there's so many issues with them, with things not working correctly and you having to download extra assets to get certain things working properly. There's plenty of infamous, examples of how PC games that are ported from console, for example, are just totally trash. And so, you know, with all that being said, there is nothing really new about what they're touting with PS5 or Xbox One, or with Xbox Scarlet. However, either way, I'm still looking forward to these console generations, man. Like, I think consoles is just so much more preferable for games. And so I do think that although there was nothing for me to be excited about, I heard all this stuff before. It's good to see consoles in general going this direction.
See, I think that's where, I know you're going to get a lot of console war right with the statement. It's hard to say because, yeah, you are right. Sony did bring a lot of this stuff to their table before pre-E3, like a month before.
Preemptive strike.
Yeah, they tried to get ahead of the game.
Jerks.
And for me, I think that backfired because now the buzzwords right now are Xbox. Especially, this is how I look at it. And again, this might catch a lot of flack. But at the same time, when Xbox Body Wash is getting more hype for E3 and more than newsworthy than anything Sony put out for E3, that's a bad look.
So that was real?
Yeah, that's real. That's 100% real. There's people posting, stuff about it already.
God, I thought it was fake.
No, that's bad look for Sony right there. Is Xbox Body Wash is getting more hype and press than what Sony put out for E3.
Well, I think that they deserve their shine. Like, honestly, they deserve their shine. Sony's won this console generation if it was a competition, which it is, monetarily. And so...
Monetary, yeah.
If that's what it is, and, fandom aside, because it could go that way, like, ultimately, Xbox deserved this time to shine. Sony did shoot themselves in the foot by saying they're not going to be at E3.
Yeah.
Them doing this whole thing where we're going to announce all this stuff, sure. Like, you guys went the Nintendo route where you guys going to do these little 30-minute, these little videos or whatever, and, like, ultimately... That's crap, man, and I think Sony's just done with this generation at this point. They're like, all right, well, we've done what we need to do. So I'm glad that Xbox had their time to kind of go, all right, just them let all the concentration be on now. The body wash thing is to me that's just a troll. Like to me, it's a troll because all right, so this E3 I was like, yo, Microsoft is gonna come up, man. They're announcing that they have 14. They just bought all these developers. They're like, we got all these teams now. We're gonna do some crazy stuff in gaming.
They're changing the narrative.
And then they come out and they have no new. They didn't have what any of us was expecting. Even me personally. And this is coming from PlayStation. Our fans are fandoms are different for each system, but I do like story based games. I like first player games still.
Yeah.
I do like very heavy production on video games, and this is what I wasn't seeing from Microsoft. So for me, I was disappointed because you gave me Halo, great. Not a Halo fan, but it interests me. Gears of War, cool. Everything else was third party. Everything else was still going to be on PlayStation. They might have announced it at their conference, but Cyberpunk is going to even has exclusives for PlayStation. So it sucks because it's like we already know there's going to be timed exclusive for that game for PlayStation, and it seems like that's cool that you guys got the production value, but it does hurt me to say that it didn't bring for someone that's hardcore PlayStation fan. It didn't bring me over to be like, oh, this next generation I have to get a Scarlet for sure. I still have to wait. I have to wait to see, all right, what else are you guys gonna do? Because right now it's not enough. Can't do it just for Halo, but maybe I can once we see more.
Well, that's also something that Phil Spencer has said before, is that they've made a lot of mistakes in the past of releasing things too early, like it's scale bound, things like that, that they're going to play their cards a little bit closer to the chest.
That's
so
true, yeah.
what you're saying is definitely valid, that what you saw might not have a lot of punch right now, but I think once it gets closer and closer to that date, remember, we're still a whole E3 away. There's still going to be one more E3 till Scarlet comes out. So I think once that whole year passes, I think they're just kind of getting the hype train leaving the station. But once, next year, once E3 hits again,
People are gonna
it's
jump
going to
aboard,
be,
man.
yeah, it's going to be going full on just hype train central, just out of control.
I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Xbox has a lot to offer. I was extremely excited to see a lot of the stuff. Like I said, for them to show so many games in such a little time, it got me completely excited for everything. But I mean, we'll go ahead and just
They had to clean the seat afterwards. They were like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of wetness going on in this place. And I was like, yeah, I go double check my seat because I think it's pretty wild right now. And because if you guys saw where I was sitting, I was way in the back, but I did it for a reason. One, because there's so many people there. If I have to go to the bathroom, I'm at the edge. I got the escape. And then two, since I had to leave a little bit early, I'm already in the back. I'm out that door.
Second practical smartness.
Ready to go.
That's all I do. But let's go ahead.
He's been to enough concerts. He knows.
Exactly. But so we'll go ahead and wrap it up on the Xbox, guys.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and take a quick little break. Let's go ahead and hit up the fridge. Get some more booze in us. Maybe use the bathroom, and then we'll come back for part 2, and we'll start diving into Nintendo, because Nintendo had a lot of good stuff too, and I'm a huge Nintendo nerd. So it's going to work out for us. And then maybe we'll go a little bit more after Nintendo, see what we've got going on. So, yeah, we'll be right back, guys.